Hello students, in this class we can study about the next biomolecule considered as a protein. The proteins are the complex nitrogenous compounds. Complex nitrogenous compounds found in the living systems. They are the condensation polymers. They are the condensation polymers of the amino acids. That is, proteins are made up of the amino acids. They are the complex nitrogenous compounds found in the living system. They are responsible for the growth and reproduction. They are the condensation polymers of the amino acids. Hence, amino acids are the building blocks of the proteins. A polypeptide with molecular mass, more than 10,000, then it is called as a protein. A polypeptide with molecular mass above 10,000, it is called as a protein. Then next we consider the classification. Classification of the proteins based on their structure. Proteins are classified into fibrous protein and globular protein. They can ask for 2 marks. What are fibrous proteins? Example. Or what are globular proteins? And example. Fibrous proteins means they long thread-like structures. The proteins which have the long thread-like structures and they are insoluble in water. That long thread-like structures which are insoluble in water, those are called as the fibrous proteins. Fibrous proteins means have long thread-like structure which are insoluble in water. Those polymer chains, the peptide chains, those chains, they are held together by disulfide linkages. The chains are held together by disulfide linkages or by hydrogen bonds. Example for that fibrous proteins are the keratin, most important one, keratin mainly present in hairs or nails or feather or maybe skin or wool. This is the one of the fibrous protein. Keratin mainly present in hair, nail, feather, skin, wool, so on. And one more is an myosin. That myosin mainly present in the muscles. These keratin and myosin are the examples for the fibrous proteins. Fibrous proteins definition is they have long thread-like structures, insoluble in water, that chains are held together by disulfide or hydrogen bonds. Example for fibrous proteins are the keratin present in hairs, nail, feather, skin and wool. And the second example for fibrous protein is myosin. Myosin mainly present in the muscles. Then globular protein, second type of proteins are the globular protein. The globular proteins have spherical. They are spherical in shape. Fibrous proteins have thread-like structures. Globular proteins have spherical in shape and are soluble in water. Globular proteins are soluble in water. Fibrous proteins are insoluble in water. Example for that globular proteins are hemoglobin, hemoglobin, hemoglobin or egg albumin, egg albumin, or maybe insulin. You have to remember the examples for both fibrous and globular proteins. Even this one helpful for the competitive examinations. That is, globular proteins are hemoglobin, egg albumin and insulin. Fibrous proteins are keratin and myosin. Fibrous protein definition is have long thread-like structure, insoluble in water. Globular proteins means have spherical in shape, soluble in water. This is about the classification of the proteins. Next, you can study the structure of the proteins. The structure of protein can be studied in four different levels. Like primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure and quaternary structure of the protein. The structure of protein studied in four different levels. First one is primary structure of protein. Primary structure of protein, that proteins consisting of the polypeptide chains. That primary structure mainly indicates the specific sequence of amino acids in the polypeptide chains. This is about the primary structure. Primary structure indicates the specific sequence of the amino acids in a polypeptide chain. This is about the primary structure. Second one is secondary structure of protein. Secondary structure of protein refers to the shape in which long polypeptide chains exist. Secondary structure refers to shape in which long polypeptide chains can exist. These polypeptide chains can exist in two different structures called alpha helix and beta pleated sheet structure. Secondary structure of protein indicates the shape of the polypeptide chains can exist. Shape of polypeptide chains can exist. That polypeptide chains can exist in two structures, namely alpha helix and beta pleated sheet structure. These alpha helix and beta pleated structure arises. Why? How they arises? Means they arises due to regular folding. Due to regular folding of the backbone. Regular folding of the backbone of polypeptide chains. Due to that regular folding of backbone of polypeptide chain, due to hydrogen bonding between that CO and NH group of the polypeptide chains. This is about the secondary structure. In the secondary structure, mainly you discuss about the shape of the polypeptide chains. That polypeptide chains occurs in two different shapes, two different structures called alpha helix and beta pleated sheet structure. These structures, that alpha helix and beta pleated structure, arises due to regular folding of backbone of the polypeptide chain due to hydrogen bonding between the CO and NH group of the peptide bond. This is about the secondary structure. Then third one is tertiary structure. Tertiary structure of the protein. That tertiary structure refers to overall folding of the polypeptide chains. Overall folding of the polypeptide chains. Tertiary structure refers to overall folding of the polypeptide chains. That is further folding of secondary structure. Further folding of secondary structure. It gives rise to major molecular shapes considered as fibrous and globular. That is, tertiary structure refers to overall folding of the polypeptide chains. Overall folding of the polypeptide chains means secondary structure further foldings takes place. Further foldings takes place to give the main shapes considered as fibrous and the globular proteins. The main forces stabilize both secondary and tertiary structures of proteins or hydrogen bond. They can ask for one mark. Name the forces which stabilize both secondary and tertiary structure. Maybe either an hydrogen bond or maybe of disulfide bond. One is an hydrogen bond, disulfide linkages, van der Waals, due to van der Waals, and the electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction. That secondary and tertiary structures of protein, they are stabilized either by hydrogen bonding, disulfide linkages, van der Waals, and electrostatic force of attraction. This is about the tertiary. Last one is quaternary. Quaternary structure of the protein. In quaternary structure, some proteins are composed of two or more polypeptide chains. That proteins, they consist of two or more polypeptide chains. Proteins contains two or more polypeptide chains. These two or more polypeptide chains, they are called as an subunits. That quaternary structure mainly indicates the spatial arrangement of the subunits. Subunits means the polypeptide chains, two or more polypeptide chains. That quaternary structure indicates the spatial arrangement of subunits with respect to each other. That is called as an quaternary structure of the protein. This is about the levels of the structures of the protein. They can be studied either in primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure. Generally, they can ask 1 mark by using any one of the structure. Then you have to study the properties of protein. Only one property, that is one is most important: denaturation of protein. This can ask for 2 marks or even for 1 mark, any type. Denaturation of protein. Denaturation of protein means any change in native structure of protein. If you change the actual structure of the protein, change in the native structure of protein. How can we change the native structure of protein? Means either by boiling. By boiling, we can change the native structure of the protein. Boiling, either by addition of acids. That means generally considered as a change in pH. Change in the pH. Addition of acid or base. Addition of acid or base considered as change in pH. Exposure to UV rays, or by vigorous shaking. If you continuously shake the protein solution, by using these conditions, by boiling, change in pH value, exposure to UV rays, or by vigorous shaking. Change in the native structure of protein occurs. Due to change in the native structure of protein, protein loses its biological activity. Protein loses its biological activity. This phenomenon is called denaturation of protein. Denaturation of protein means change in the native structure of the protein loses its biological activity. How can we change the native structure? Means either by boiling or by change in pH or exposure to UV rays or by vigorous shaking. Thereby protein loses its biological activity. It is called as denaturation of protein. By boiling, that is by applying these conditions, hydrogen bonds, they get disturbed either by boiling, change in pH, UV rays, or by vigorous shaking. Hydrogen bonds present in the proteins, they get disturbed. Due to this, globules unfold and helix get uncoiled. And protein loses its biological activity. Why protein loses its biological activity means by applying these conditions, hydrogen bonds they get disturbed. When the hydrogen bonds disturb, globules get unfold, helix get uncoiled, and thereby protein loses its biological activity. That phenomenon is called denaturation of protein. For your theoretical examination, just you write change in the native structure of protein loses its biological activity is called denaturation of protein. During denaturation of protein, this is most important for 1 mark. During denaturation of protein, secondary and tertiary structures they get destroyed. During denaturation, only secondary and tertiary structure they get destroyed, while primary structure remains same. Primary structure remains same in that is considered as an intact. Primary structure, which structure of the protein get intact during denaturation of protein? They can ask like this: only primary structure intact. Intact meaning is remains the same. Only secondary and tertiary structures they get destroyed. Then example for this denaturation of protein is egg is boiled. When egg is boiled, coagulation of the egg. We can consider it as coagulation of the egg. When egg is boiled, globular protein, egg is an example, egg albumin is an globular protein. The globular protein present in it undergoes structural changes and becomes a fibrous protein. This is an example for denaturation of protein. Just you can consider, instead of egg is boiled, globular protein changes to fibrous. Instead of that one, just you can consider it as coagulation of egg albumin, coagulation of egg albumin of white during boiling. That is an example for denaturation of protein. Denaturation of protein example is coagulation of egg white or egg albumin on boiling. And one more is curdling of milk. That is coagulation of the milk. Or curdling of milk. How that milk converted into curd means due to the formation of lactic acid. due to the formation of lactic acid by the bacteria present in the milk. Bacteria name is the lactobacillus. Lactobacillus bacteria present in the milk convert milk into curd. During the formation of curd, a lactic acid is formed. Lactic acid is formed. Hence, milk get converted into curd by the bacteria present in the milk called as the lactobacillus. These two are the examples for denaturation of protein. Examples for denaturation of proteins are, one is coagulation of egg white by boiling. Coagulation of egg white by boiling. Instead of that one, when egg is boiled, the globular protein present in the egg converted into fibrous protein. During curdling of milk or coagulation of the milk or curdling of milk, that due to the formation of the lactic acid is formed by the bacteria present in the milk called as an lactobacillus. This is about the denaturation of protein. In next class we can study about the vitamins.